What's going on, everybody? I hope you all got a chance on this national holiday that this country celebrates to spend time with your family. I know I got to, but I live near them anyway, so that's going to happen whether there's a national holiday going on or not. But I do want to say I had a good time with my family. I hope you guys did. Uh, we my son has a disabled child, my granddaughter, and it's not that she's paralyzed. She had a birth that I'm not going to go into this, but she was lucky to live through it along with her mother. We're lucky to have both of them. She has the strength in her body to be able to walk. She can stand. She don't crawl. I don't know what it is. She'll roll around a little bit. She'll work her way out of her bed, sitting on the floor. But and she, like I said, she can stand. You can stand her up there. She don't stand by herself. Her balance isn't all that well. And but we know we. It's like we know. Oh, that's ice falling off my Jeep. We know she gets tired of just sitting in one place. So my wife and my daughter come together for this holiday and bought her this bumper car, folks, and that's the best thing I can call it is a bumper car. Um, but you put her in it. It's got a let's see, a one, two, three, 5 point harness. You drive this thing like you would a tank. It's got two levers. To go forward, you push them both forward. To go backwards, you pull them both backwards, or you can do it by and to turn or whatever. You can just push one, and it'll turn in a circle. But it's got a hunk of rubber that sticks out off of the front of it all the way around in case she bumps into something or anything. And it's got two settings on it. One is a faster mode. I guess if you're outside, we even let her use it inside. To be honest with you, because she was enjoying going in a circle. Uh, but it's made for indoors and outdoors. But we kind of figure because she wants to move around and like if my wife Nana goes into the kitchen, she wants to go in there and see what Nana's doing. She just can't get up and go like the rest of your 3 year olds can. She just can't do it. And so she hollers out, and she's always talking to us uh, from room to room. If we're not in the room, she'll even ask for a hug or something. Hug. And I'll run for her. If she wants a hug, I'm giving her a hug. That's for sure. But this little car, they came over. Let's see, Christmas Eve, and we had a dinner and everything, and then they all go back home, and most of my son's wife's family are staying at the house that they're living in right now because they just sold their house. They're getting ready to buy a house that's all one level instead of three levels, a basement, a upstairs, and a down and a ground level. They needed to get out of that because of my granddaughter's disabilities. So they sold it, and they're staying at her mother's, at my son's wife's mother's, and that's where all of her family comes in when they come in. And there's like 13 of them over there. So usually they would be at their own house and they would have to go over to her mother's, and then they would come over to our house, and we wouldn't get a lot of time uh, because they were bouncing around, you know. And so this time they were already at her mother's, so, and all of her family was already been there. So by Christmas Eve, they were ready to come to our house, which was cool with us. And we did our thing and everything. And they left that night and went home. And the roads were so still, they weren't real bad. My son drives a new Blazer, so it's 4-wheel drive and all that. Traction control and everything. It wasn't him. It was the car that slid into his Blazer. So, and they claim it didn't do no damage. They'd hit him right in the rear wheel. As they were, I mean, they weren't a minute from my house. After they just left, we got all the, or they got the kid, my granddaughter in the car, and they got out there, and they left, and all of a sudden I get a text, we just got in a wreck, and I'm like, I get this text, and I'm seeing wreck, and my heart just dropped. But this woman slid into them, because she couldn't get stopped, and hit them in the rear tire. They're going to have it checked out. They don't think it was any damage, but there was a police officer involved and everything. But they go home, and the next morning, Christmas morning, you know, they do their whole thing with their whole family. I mean, at this point, there's 13 of them in this one house, and about half of them are kids. So I'm figuring they were up at about 5 o'clock in the morning, maybe 4, if they got all the kids to go to sleep at all. I remember those times as a child, especially when there's big family get together like that every year, and you know there's just going to be presents under the tree like crazy. Oh yeah, them kids had a hard time sleeping, you know. And but then they got through, and then they come over to Nana and Pop-Pop's house, and this is where my daughter's over here with us, and they show up over here, and that little electric car thing, bumper car is what I call it. Now, we didn't even have it wrapped. We had it put together, fully charged, ready to go as soon as my granddaughter got there. And they usually walk in. I'm sitting at my dining table, and they'll bring her over and hand her to me, and I'll sit her on the table and get her jacket off of her and everything. I started looking at everybody going, hey, I ain't waiting. We're putting her in it. I've been telling her since she got there, I told her, you're going to love this. You're going to love this thing. You're going to love it, Addie. And she's all getting excited. She don't know what to expect. And finally everybody comes in, and I just stand up and start walking towards the living room because it's sitting right out there in the front. And my wife's going, no, yeah. I'm going, I ain't waiting. I walked straight in there, and with her, I said, hey, you guys get to pull them straps back. I'm going to set her down here in it. We got her down in it, strapped her in. This thing, it's even remote controlled, folks. So if she starts heading towards something, I can take control of it and turn her from it to keep her from hitting into anything. But she was doing pretty good on her own, so we weren't really even using it. But she did bump into a few things. But we strapped her in that thing, folks, and I'm telling you what, there's 5 adults sitting around here getting the biggest. That little girl was having so much fun. We didn't need nothing else under the tree. There was nothing else under that tree that could match that. Nothing. There could have been $1 billion under that tree. And if you saw and I'm trying to talk my wife into letting me, she don't like me to put family pictures on any of my YouTube channels, but I'm trying to talk her into a picture of my granddaughter in the bumper car, and if she'll let me, I'm gonna put it on my community button. If you guys haven't checked out my community button, I got stuff on there. Matter of fact, there's some stuff on there that could save your life. especially if you're a Gen Z. I ain't playing with you. My last thing I put on my community button, I could save a lot of it. You don't need, if you got gas heat, you don't need a generator to run it. And there ain't no kidding about that, folks. You can run the heater through your whole house if the power grid's down, but you got to have a few things to do it. So I suggest you check out my community button. And the man that does that video, I'm sure he's got a website or a channel or something that you can go to and get a lot more information. But he's showing you the smallest amount of money that you can still run the heater in your house. If you're on a gas heater, if you're on an electric heater, you ain't going to run it like this. But if you're on a gas heater, you can run it. People, you can save your lives during a cold ass day or night or week or so. And if you set it up right, you won't have to worry about losing heat. Now, you might not have no electricity. You might not have no internet or TV, but you'll have heat in your whole house if you're running off of propane or gas. I ain't playing with you. I'm just here to help. People, God loves you. I love you. Seek Jesus' path. Things aren't going to get better. If you don't believe me, watch and see. They're not going to get better. The people in control and in the positions that could make it better don't want it to get better. So it will not get better. Till the next one, folks.